Okay, so let's just start the next session of business strategy. The previous session we had some overview on business strategy as a big picture of business strategy, what exactly we mean by business strategy. And basically strategic management. So now we want to dig deeper into business level strategy this session and see what exactly we mean by business level strategy. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So by business level strategy, the definition is an integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions the firm uses to gain a competitive advantage by exploiting core competencies in specific product markets. So it's a set of events and commitments, basically actions from the firm that the firm uses and utilizes to gain competitive advantage. And in that process, the firm will use core competencies in a specific product market. So there are a bunch of key words here. First, we have competitive advantage. We talked about it, something that you can do that others cannot do. It's your specialty. And we use competency. So next slide will discuss more what exactly we mean by that. Okay. So first, the key issues in business level strategy is which good or product or service. So basically, this will determine what exactly you will be doing, and then how to manufacture that certain good or product or service that you want to produce, and then how to distribute it. So first of all, you decide what exactly you're going to do, and then when you decide it, you will figure out how you want to do it, and finally how to get it to the customers. So from scratch to final product being at the hand of the customers, that's what we cover at business level strategy. So first of all, customers. The customers are fundamental foundation of successful business level strategy. So end of the day, you'll be helping customers to get what they need. Basically, your audience, where they buy the product, get the product, are the customers. So without the business, is not necessarily viable. To have you have a finalized circulation of events. You need customers. Customers are those who will buy your products or services, and basically your main audience. So it's good to just take time and think who will be served by this strategy. So definitely when you're devising your business level strategy, you should understand who exactly, what type of customers will be served by your strategy. So sometimes you're in toy business, like there's a company called Toys R Us, or Barbie dolls, or whatever company that is. You gotta understand exactly who will be getting your customers. So what exactly is gonna be to be your customers? What are your customers going to be like, and what they prefer, and what do they like? And that will be the first important step in devising your business level strategy. And then when you find the answer to that, so it's going to be easy to find the next question's answer, which is what needs those target customers have that the strategy will satisfy. So for sure, customers are going to be like a certain number of customers in the market. They could be adults or teenagers or certain level of ages. So whoever they are, what needs of them are you going to satisfy? So definitely customers have several different type of needs. The same customers can have different needs, and those needs should be satisfied. But you are going to decide that your company is going to satisfy these number of needs that those customers you chose you're going to help. Uh, so basically, that's your next big step. And then finally, when you decide to do that, how those needs will be satisfied by the strategy. So that is a what level, and now is how level. So how are you going to do that? So these are the three major questions you got to answer yourself before you start your business level strategic level strategizing. Are there any questions so far? Are we clear? Everybody knows what you're talking about? Are there any questions or comments so far? Okay, so let's go next slide then. So then we start the 3 W's, which is who, what, and where. So firms must manage all aspects of their relationship with customers. First is the reach, which is firm success and connection to customers. Okay, so when you are trying to connect to your customers, you got to reach them. So reach of your products and services to customers is absolutely important. So you will definitely use different types of medias and advertisement and lettings to get out there to customers so that customers will know about you, learn about you, and probably buy your products. So it's definitely important to have a higher reach so that when those pool of customers get your information, then a percentage of those customers that you have targeted and been talking to will buy your products and services. So that's how you'll survive. And so definitely the bigger the reach, the better the chances are you're going to be successful. And then richness, which is depth and detail of two-way flow of information between the firm and the customer. So after that, you're going to clarify into what depth and detail are you going to have some flow of information. Because when you get to the customer, it's important what you tell the customer. Because first of all, you need to make sure that you talk to customers. You will get a chance to talk to a customer, or your advertisement company is going to put out some advertisement and tell to your customer. Okay, so first you choose who is going to receive, and then finally, when you decided, okay, you are going to be my tentative or possible customer, what am I going to tell you? What am I going to offer you? Is it just a product, or if it's the benefits, or if it's a mixture of products and benefits, and how you're going to present yourself in the market? Because what I'm telling you is what I want you to believe about my firm. So it's really important that you understand what exactly I'm offering. So this is really important. A lot of companies, they make a mistake here, and that's their Achilles heel, and they will go all along, but they have lost it. Because if the customer gets the wrong perception of what you do, it could be good or bad. I mean, the perception you give to the customer, but it's definitely bad because it's in any case that it's not the same as what you are, giving, then definitely you're out of business. Okay, so a good example would be, let's say you are in toys products. So let's say you're a company called Toys R Us. First, when you put out an advertisement about your company, let's say you're opening a new branch in a new neighborhood, so your company is pretty well known, so you don't take it for granted because you're a franchise. You want to make sure that everybody knows about your branch's information. So what you do is you go and put bulletins, advertisement in that neighborhood that your branch is. You send out flyers, you give them coupons. If you come and buy this many toys, and we will give you this for free, and you will target the schools, you will target some certain companies in that neighborhood that are also working, because those are the parents or dads, moms and dads of those kids. So if they know about the toys, they will bring along your kids and buy them the products. Or when you talk to the kids at the school and you're promoting or advertising in TV during a certain cartoon that the kids are watching, you will create that need. The kid is watching the cartoon, and then they see this nice little toy. They like it. They tell their parents, "We want this toy." And next thing, those customers are in your shop trying to buy that product. So that's the first step. The second one, writtenness, is you decide to tell them during the advertisement, let's say, okay, this is a beautiful toy. It has like speaking features. It doesn't need that much of a battery. You show the product, how it looks, and you show some cool pictures or probably clips of how the kids are playing with those toys. So that's what you decide to tell them. So to what extent you tell them about the toy or who is using it or whatever information you put out there in the flyer or in the advertisement clip is where it's about richness. And then finally, the affiliation, which is facilitation of useful interaction with customers. Okay, so you gotta tell them, yes, rich means gets to. So let's say newspaper, like they call it customer rich. So the newspapers or whatever advertisement company, they do research and they give you what is their customer rich. According to the number of, let's say, readers of that newspaper, they tell us, okay, we have 100,000 readers. So it means that when you put out a flyer or advertisement in our newspaper, you're reaching 100,000 readers. So that's your customer reach. Or when you're putting it on radio, we guess like this number of listeners are listening to radio in that neighborhood. So your customer reach will be the exact same number of those people in that area that are listening to that radio program. So, and then finally, affiliation, as I said, is a useful interaction, because the customers, let's say they decide to come to your shop and buy that toy, you gotta put some possible, useful, and conducive process of interaction with customers. Okay, you have the contact us part on our website. Customers know where to call, where to go when they want to come and buy that toy, or if they want to call you, your customer service line, and ask some questions. You got to be really helpful in that sense so that the customer can easily interact with you. So these are really important steps in basically devising your business level strategy. So first of all, who, and then what, and then where. Okay. So any questions so far? Yeah. Now we can say affiliation means making connection, or basically where, whereabouts should they go and get you. I mean, you got to tell them exactly where to find you. You got to have certain place that customers can come and say, okay, this company Toys R Us is located at this street in this part of the city, or this number of people are there to help them. Even they're open, there are people there. associates who are helping people to find those toys and exactly what they need. So that's what affiliation is. In a sense, it's connection. Where to contact you, where to find you. Because a lot of times they decide to come over and get your product, but if they are not able to find you, the chances that you're losing. Because when you create that need in the customer, when you reach that customer, tell them about what you do, the final part and very important part in the process is for customers to be able to exactly know where you are. If they decide to buy your product, they should know where to find you. And if that part is not complete, basically your deal is not going to go through, because end of the day, the customer should go there or call you or email you or go to your website and order those products that they want. If you're lacking that part, that's a very important part, because that's where the real deal where the business is going to happen. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So looks like you're good. Let's go to the next slide. So this is the who part, the customer needs, and the who part, like what customers to help. Now you gotta get into the market segmentation. So you want to see consumer markets, customers, or industrial markets. So when you want to go out there, and tell them about your products or your company or services that you do, you got to know exactly which segment of the market you're going to target. You cannot just put some marketing or some information out there and you target all the customers out there. It's just too many customers out there, and you're not focused at all. Then that's why your promotion or advertisement or marketing is not going to work. You got to know exactly what segment of the market are you going to serve. So back to the example that we were talking about, which is an example of Toys R Us company, which is a toy company, a toy shop. Your market segment would be like certain age group of kids who like toys, boys and girls, doesn't matter, and probably their parents too. So those are your customers. Necessarily, you're not going to industrial market. It's a consumer market, and what type of customers you're going to target. So that's really important in telling you exactly where you're headed. So, any questions so far regarding your customers? Okay. So a consumer is a person who buys goods and uses services. Yes, we can absolutely say that a consumer is a person who buys the services or products, and your customer. Basically, consumer and customer are the same. They're going to consume your products and services. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. Basis for customer segmentation. So when you are going to segment your customers, when you are going to say, okay, this segment on the market I'm going to target, you got to have some idea what exactly we mean by consumer markets. First, we have demographic factors. So demographic type, there are several companies out there that they do researches on demographics. A lot of them, they send flyers, and then the customers are filling up information, or even online when people are downloading the stuff or buying the stuff, they put some information about themselves, like their sex, whether they are male or female, like their income, like their age, and certain interests. So those companies will give you or provide you the demographic information. A lot of times you have to buy this information because you don't have much time to establish yourself in the neighborhood by just opening to customers and they just come and explain it. You gotta do it much faster because you gotta save time. You don't want to spend several days or months just to introduce yourself, and then realizing who your customers are. So basically, you can get this information, and that's the grounding and the basic information you need for the next step. And to answer your question, sir, is consumer is the one who buys, and not necessarily they sell it again. They don't have to sell. I mean, customers could just buy, and mostly they're just going to buy your products, and you are going to continue selling all these products. Nowadays, because of eBay and a lot of websites, customers can sell again their products, but that's nothing compared to what you want to do, because you are the guy who's responsible for getting customers to buy, and you are continuously selling those products. Your customer buys that. If they need it again, they come back to you and buy. So then you ask customer and consumer, any difference? Yeah, customer and consumer are pretty much the same. The only thing is consumer is the one who consumes your product. So customer could be just anyone who comes to you and gets your products and services. For consumers, they're more into just consuming also. I mean, they don't just get your product, but at the same time they're going to use it. So they're users of your product. It's just the only slight difference, but mostly we mean the same. They're used alternatively. And then socioeconomic factors like social class, a stage in the family life cycle. That is also very important. You want to know exactly, welcome, you want to know exactly what type of customers with what social class and stage are you talking to. Are they middle class customers, upper and lower end, the lower middle class? What certain class of society are you targeting? Like if that neighborhood is a wealthy neighborhood, your type of customers are going to be different. They are not necessarily into very, very low priced products. They rather something probably more expensive, but with extra features and benefits and goodies that you're going to give out. So it's really important to know exactly what type of customers you're dealing with, what type of income they make and all that. I mean, those are interrelated. I mean, demographic and socioeconomic. But socioeconomic gives you a more of a subjective understanding or analysis of those data that you gather. So like, okay, these type of companies are going to reside here. So when you are opening business, you already know what to expect. And then geographics, like the cultural, the regional, and national differences. A lot of times, like just going from one region to another, the culture totally changes. Something which is good in one region might be bad in the other. And national differences, people even in the same countries, they have all these different national interests. So in a certain city, let's say in Kabul, you have certain type of customers, they have certain cultural issues and regional and national, aspects. And then if you just go to Kandahar, you will have different type of customers with different probably cultural or, regional preferences. So it really matters what region you're going to sell. Like certainly in countries south or like most hotter areas, they have different preferences than the north or you know, middle of the country. So the regional geographical issues are also important. Then psychological factors. Psychological factors are lifestyle, personality traits. So by lifestyle, we basically mean that what type of lifestyle they have, what type of personality traits and you know, tenets they do have. Let's say in a certain place, their lifestyle is they like nightlife, they want to go out on at night, and so customers are out there. And if let's say if you are in restaurant business, the psychological factors, their lifestyle, if they want leisure or very high class type of services, that really helps you when you're providing your services. Okay, so let's just pause here to getting these four aspects. Are there any questions or comments or something you need more clarification? Okay, so then we're good. And then we go to the next one, which is consumption patterns, where it's heavy, light users. So okay, you just talk to your customers, you know about them, how much they make, the social and geographical and psychological aspects you know already. But you want to know how much they're using your products, like to what level, whether it's a heavy usage or just a moderate or very light usage. That's really helpful as well. I mean, because end of the day, they want to buy your products and they give you some idea of what exactly would you expect for the market out there to, so that they get your products. So that is also very important to know what is the pattern, whether it's a heavy usage or moderate usage. Like certain retail companies, they have like their big lots and several of the certain products because they know that the customers will just go there and they buy that in masses. They buy that a lot because like companies like Costco. Costco is a company that you can buy a lot of stuff with a bigger scale, like bigger amount, but better price. So instead of buying just one loaf of bread, you buy 10, and then you get a discount of 10 cents per loaf when you buy 10 instead of 1. So they know how to get it to you instead of just buying one, and they charge you, let's say, 50 cents. They sell you a whole package. They charge you 10 cents or 5 cents each. Okay. And the final aspect is perceptual factors, like benefit segmentation, perceptual mapping. So perception of your product is really important as well, because of course you want to market your product, you want to tell your customers what to expect, and they will know about you, and that will determine during your marketing and everything. But end of the day, the perception of your products and services is what causes the customer to buy. So they gotta know, okay, this company is a good company. The customer think of you as something really good, which is gonna help them. So the perception is really important. They gotta know. You gotta know what benefits you're serving to customers. So that helps you to exclude yourself from what everybody is doing, and then come back. Just one explanation in parenthesis for Mr. Nuzai and everyone. When we start the class is going to go on for the duration of the class, which is mostly like 1.5 hours or whatever. That will continue if there are any questions or comments and everything. So during the class, you're more than welcome to leave and come back. So feel free to do that. We won't give you any breaks during the class, but if you are going to take any break, you're more than welcome to do that. So don't expect us to stop the class for or anything, but you can go and come back for sure. Okay, thank you. So that's about perception factors. Okay, so before we go to the next stage, are there any questions here? Any questions so far? Give an example for item 6. Okay. A good example is for perception factors is like when you want, let's say you want to buy a car, right? So when you want to buy a car, let's say you are the company that is called Toyota or let's say Volvo. What is the perception of that car by customers when you're talking to them? What do we know Toyota or even Japanese cars for, and what do we know let's say Volvo as a car for? So as a customer, I understand that Japanese cars are very reliable, durable cars. You can drive them forever, and low gas mileage and all that. I mean, high gas mileage, like the mileage that can go within a certain gallon of gas is pretty okay and good. So the perception of, let's say, Japanese cars is something of an economic cars. Those cars that will benefit you economically, like you spend this much money, but you get a lot of benefits. So that's perception. So for you as Toyota, you got to understand that you are devising a new product. The perception of the customers already is something economic. It's something that is reliable and durable. And if you're giving out a product that doesn't meet those certain perceptions, you either have to prepare the customer and tell them, okay, you've been like an economic car till now, but now you know what? We're coming up with a new brand called Lexus, which is a higher end of the same company, but don't expect an economic car. It's a very expensive car compared to other Japanese cars. It's like a higher end. So go compare that Lexus with some higher brand car, which is, it's not just an economic car that you drive. Lexus is something beyond that. It's something that brings you class and everything also. So that's about perceptions, because end of the day, when you're dealing with customers, it's their perception that makes them decide and do something or not to do something or decide to do it differently and everything. So perception really matters. The customer's perception is something you got to be really watchful of, because if you mess down there, it's going to be really terrible and troublemaking in the future. Okay. Very good. Any other questions? Anything you need some more clarification or explanation, let me know. Not necessarily. If in that case, yes. If your perception, I mean, the customer's understanding of you is that your products are always economic. If you're coming up with a new product and it's not economic, it's more of like luxurious, you got to prepare their perception. That's what I mean. In that example, in Toyota, yes, you have been promoting yourself as a company that comes up with reliable, durable, economic cars, and then suddenly you come up with a car that doesn't meet those explanations or perceptions. Customers will be confused. They say, okay, this is not what I expect. From Toyota, I expect something durable that I can drive for several thousands of miles, and then, or even hundred thousands of miles. And it's going to be okay. It's going to be up and running, and I can drive it anywhere else. But if you have not promoted yourself as something that you are promoting now, you got to prepare your customers, because they perceive of you, they think of you as something different. So that's what we mean by perception factors. But in that certain example that I came up with, it was Toyota, yes, you should be economic. Your product should make sense economically regarding like gas mileage, durability, and all that. Or your parts are going to be reliable. Sure, absolutely. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So industrial markets. So continuation of segmentation. Basically, when we are dealing with customers, we are going to have a certain end use in mind. We got to make sure we got to make sure that our standard industrial classification is also identified. So basically, a lot of times, just want to clarify, everybody can hear me loud and clear, right? Just verify that you can all hear me. Yes. So those of you who don't have sound, it's probably your microphone or your connection. So please make sure that you're well connected, and then it should be okay because my microphone works and everybody pretty much is hearing me loud and clear. So if you cannot, it's either your connection, you could just sign out and sign back in, or it's your voice on the system, your personal computer or laptop or iPhone or iPad or whatever device you're using to connect to us, is make sure that the sound is to the maximum, and also the internet quality, your connection, that matters also, because these sounds and everything is going to be relayed on the net, and if your speed is pretty low, it will take a bit longer for it to process, so you'll have a delay to hear me. But if your connection is pretty okay, then there shouldn't be any problem. Okay, beautiful. So the end use segment, as I mentioned, is basically what the final use of the product is going to be. And then product segments is based on technological differences or production economics. So when you are dividing the segments according to the standard industrial classification, so you're classifying your products, you're putting different type of products into different segments, or sometimes, the final uses of the products, or sometimes just the product themselves. You say, okay, this certain product is for a certain segment, and this other product is for this other segment. So that is also another feature of segmentation. Then the next one is geographical segmentation, so defined by boundaries between countries or regional differences within them. So, end of the day, geographically, you're going to be dispersed and spread out. So in certain areas, you're more present than other areas. Let's say you are from Kabul, your company is from Kabul, you're based down there. So you have more branches, and then you have few branches in other cities. So that also is a part of your, segmentation, your geographical segmentation. Then combined factor segments. So you cut across product, market, and geographical segments. So what are the common buying factors that causes people, customers, or consumers to buy your product? And then the customer size segment. So when you want to segment your products into different markets, one of the issues could be the number of customers in that certain segment. Let's say I'm going to serve in each segment about 5,000 customers. So each 5,000 customers in a certain area is going to be a segment. You're going to target them, market your products to them, tell them what exactly you're going to offer them, how, and everything. So these are all these different factors involved when you are dealing with segmentation, which are pretty much important, and we are dealing with them every day when we are doing our strategizing. So, market segmentation, consumer markets. So as you can see here, this is like a pie kind of graphical chart. And we can see we have demographic, socioeconomic, geographic, psychological, consumption, and perceptual factors. So these are different types of markets that you're gonna consider in different segments and different ways of segmenting the market. So the whole pie is actually the market, and you're dividing it into different segments. What it does is actually helping you to serve that certain segment better. It helps you focus and reduce repetitive, redundant actions. Let's say if you have like 5,000 customers in that certain segment, by focusing on the whole segment, you don't have to redo a lot of things for that certain segment. You just standardize for that certain segment. That helps you to serve better and provide your products better. So it's like dividing a book into chapters. It's like the whole book is actually your company is giving out the products and services, and then you divide it into chapters so that when readers are reading your book, they are able to understand what chapter is covering what subject. Yeah, the end use segment is you're basically segmenting your product according to the final usage or benefit of the product. Let's say if you're producing ball pens or markers, that certain market that you use, let's say the final use is for teachers or lecturers or colleges or schools to use them on their whiteboard. So that's the end use. So according to that usage of the product, you start segmenting. You say, okay, my markers are going to use only in the schools. So according to the final usage that your product is getting, you will be going to segmenting your product. So it might be that your market could possibly be in other usages also. So you say, okay, that's one of the usages. The other one, the market can be used for individual, like personal usage, and then according to that, you could do some marketing and stuff like that also. But if you only focus on schools, so that end usage is different, whereas when you have other end usages also. I hope you got the answer to your question. Is there any other explanation that I could give? Yeah, well, the duration and all those information about the product, but we want to categorize them into different groups so that it's easier to understand. Okay, sounds good. So market segment is industrial markets. End-use segments, product segments, geographical segments, common buying factor segments, and customer size segments. So this is also the other part that also another way of segmentation is like you said, end-use, the product, geographical, where geographical, what geographical issues or concepts are there, and then common buying factor, let's say everyone is buying new houses, or let's say the rates for interest is kind of down, so everybody is rushing to buy houses. So that's a common buying factor because interest rate, let's say, is a factor. And when it's down, people will just attack you to come buy their houses and they want your help. So, these certain factors that gets customer to buy a certain product is actually really important. And then customer size segments. So by customer size segment, as I mentioned, let's say you divide your segment according to the number of customers you're helping. Let's say in that region, in that segment, you're helping 5,000 customers. So that 5,000 customer takes certain number of advertisement, media, products to be out there for showing and everything for them to be able to buy. So you gotta have enough stock for that 5,000 customers when they come to you, and when you're promoting yourself or advertising, you gotta make sure that they realize what you do, and you are addressing that 5,000. Yeah, a common buying factor, as I mentioned, like interest rates if you are a mortgage company. Because that's important for customers. When they come to you, say, okay, how is the interest rate? So for them to get any loans or mortgages from you, you got to give them a good rate. So that's the common buying factor. Okay. So customer needs the what part? Customer needs is satisfied. Customer needs are related to products, benefits, and features. Okay, here is an important aspect I want to explain. It's really important that every single product that you have, let's say going back to the toy example, the toy, let's say you're selling a doll for girls, and that doll, it has certain features, like certain hair, it has a button you press and it's going to sing a song, or it moves. All these are features of that toy, okay? So these are characteristics, or the way the toy looks like, or performs, or functions and everything. So these are information about what exactly the toy does. But what we mean by benefits is what you get out of those features. So let's say if the toy is going to sing a song, if you press a button, the benefit the kids get is pleasure, because it's kind of pleasurable to have a toy that talks to you and sings a song. It's just joy, amusement, happiness, all these are benefits. And one single point I want to really pinpoint to you guys and want you to remember forever is that the benefits are those that sell a product. They say features tell, benefits sell. And that's really true, because you tell your customers, I have these features or these functional information about this certain product. Okay, this is a baby doll that I'm giving you. Yes, it sings a song, it moves, its hands can be movable, it's wearing these type of clothes. These are just information. The customer knows and say, okay, but they have information. It's not going to mean that they're going to buy the product from you. But what really makes the customer get the product is you tell the customer, okay, when you have a singing doll for your daughter, that the moment they start playing, they're singing out. So they're going to enjoy even better because they're playing and also enjoying the song. So that's what causes the customer to say, and they go for it and buy it. So this is really a very, very important factor when you are talking about customers who want to satisfy their needs. You got to understand that the features are not enough at all to help them satisfy their needs. They're becoming more demanding every single day. So the best advice for you is to just make sure that you're getting them the benefits they want. And yeah, focus on benefits a lot. Customer needs are neither right nor wrong, good or bad. as a producer, as a servicer, as a certain company that you provide service or product. You never say this need for customers is a bad need and this is a good need. It doesn't actually exist. A bad need or a good need doesn't matter. For you, a need is something you need to be able to promote yourself. So there should be a need for what you're doing, your product. There is no bad or good as a economic producer, or let's say company, or service company, or even NGO or whatever. You are not going to say, okay, this need is a bad need and this is a good need. You're not going to judge the needs of customers and tell them whether it's a good need or a bad need. It's none of your business. What you will do is just use those needs in your favor. Those needs are the cause of your business being in place. So if there is a need for a certain product, you got to go and give that product to those customers that need that certain type of service. So it's not for you to go and judge, say, okay, customers, they need this is really bad, so I'm not going to give them this product and all that. It's just a matter of the need causes the customer to come to you and get their product, because that's a very important part. So if you think that a certain need is not relevant within your economic scenario, it's not the product that you're going to offer them. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad need. It could be a great, wonderful need for another company offering a different product. So that also needs some clarification. And then finally, customer needs represent desires in terms of features and performance capabilities. Yeah, so it's just needs of customers are a representation of features and performances that they're looking for in that type of product, and it should be in the market for them to buy. So these are also very important when it comes to customer needs, the what part. So any questions so far? Any comments, questions? Okay, seems very good. Let's go to the next one. Customer needs, the how part, determining the core competencies necessary to satisfy customer needs. So firms use core competencies to implement value-creating strategies that satisfy customer needs. So core competency is something that you do different. It's something your company does. It's something that is your advantage. So companies use that to be able to develop some strategies, value-creating strategies to satisfy customer needs. If you remember from the previous session, we talked about value. We said nowadays, whatever you do, no matter how long you've been doing it or how long you're going to do it or whatever type of business you have, you are going to deal with that adding value to customers, adding some value to whatever they previously had. You say, hey, you're buying these type of pants from me. These are adding some value to your clothing. It's just a nice looking pant. You're going to enjoy this flexible, relaxing, and all that, and you can use it in these places and everything. So, in a sense, you're adding some value to the customer's, current scenario. So, if you buy this product, you get these values. That's what makes sense for the customer. They don't care necessarily for just the product. Okay, it's another pants to me. It doesn't. I don't care. But what do I get? That kind of an understanding should be considered when you are the producer or the service provider. So you got to be really careful about that. And you're using your competencies, your advantages, your capabilities to give that value to the customer. Okay. Only firms with capacity to continuously improve, innovate, and upgrade their competencies can expect to meet and exceed their customer expectations the first time. Okay. There was a time, was quite some time ago, some of us we remember, and the certain product that you would buy was the only product out there. You either buy it or leave it. It's the way it is. That's it. And you'd be okay doing business that way. You could just be a successful company because you have always been there. Customers have always bought your products, and you're doing okay. But nowadays it's really different. Nowadays it's about improving your products and services every single second. You got to be innovative. You got to upgrade it. So if you're staying where you're staying, doesn't mean that you're doing a good job. For you to be able to sustain what you're doing, it's really important to be able to improve, to innovate, to do research, to be able to make your products better, because the competition is pretty tough. And if you don't do something that I expect you as a customer, I'm going to get it from somewhere else. So you got to come up with something new, because my expectations are set pretty high, and I'm looking for all these features. If you are not giving them to me, I'm going to get them from somewhere else. Yes, absolutely. Dear Hassan, Apple is a fabulous example. Look at their products. Let's say iPad, the first iPad, it was a pretty awesome product. It was a tablet. It was the first tablet almost that came out. Not many other tablets were out when it came out, and everybody was rushing to buy. I remember those lines. People were standing in lines to get it exactly when it came out. It was a big hit. It actually, in 2011, it was named as the top 10, or actually the best innovative product in 2011. Okay, but now you're in 2012, iPad, the first one, is already outdated. So you see how fast, like right after iPad, a lot of companies like Motorola, Samsung, all that, they came in with their own tablets. They say, we offer you exactly what Apple is offering you, and now they have a different iPad 2, and they're working on iPad 3 and all that. So you see how fast. It didn't take them long. It's 2012. It's actually a year from then. And we are coming with the third generation of iPad. So you see that the pace for innovations and upgrading is pretty fast. So if you are going to stay where you are, I can tell you, I can guarantee you'll be out of business very soon. It's gone are those days that you would just say, okay, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. Okay, if you're going to do it the rest of your life the same way, you'll be the only customer of your own business. So customers' demand and expectations are pretty much growing fast, so you got to, keep up with that speed. Okay, any questions? Any comments or questions? Yeah. Okay. So the reason I pause sometimes, I don't want to be too fast for you guys. So whenever you think you want to pause or stop me and ask me a question, feel free to do that. Okay. I don't want to be too fast, and then you'll miss a point or something. Just let me know whenever you need some more explanation. I can give it to you. Okay. So going back to the topic, types of business level strategy. So business level strategies are intended to create differences between the firm's position relative to those of the rivals. Okay. So basically, when it comes to positioning, you want to position yourself. You want to tell your customers that this is what you do, and basically that's based on the differences that your products and services offer compared to other companies or rivals products. So yeah, let's going back to the example of iPads or tablets. What makes a customer buy a Samsung tablet rather than an iPad? It's the differences, the type of features they have, you know. So when it comes to business model strategies, it's really important for you as a producer to exactly know what type of differences you're creating. If you are promoting your tablet with exact same features as an iPad, why would I go and buy yours where iPad is already there? You know, it's for you to know exactly you know, why does it make sense for customers to go and buy your product? It's really important, you know. Okay. So, in order for you to position yourself, the firm must decide whether you intend to perform activities differently or perform different activities as compared to rivals. Okay. So, so you perform activities differently. Let's say going back to the tablet example, the iPad and Motorola or Samsung, they might be totally different products. They perform differently, they look differently, and everything. And then, or they're doing exactly the same thing, and it's done different from the rivals. So let's say you're offering the exact same features as iPad, but just with lower price or with higher speed regarding the performance of let's say, the apps. Let's say the apps that you download on an iPad, you got to have a certain account and everything. But let's say my tablets, you can just go and download those apps without having any account. You know, like in iTunes, you got to have an account and everything. So it got to make sense. It's all about common sense. You know, end of the day, we talk about all these aspects of you know, business level strategy or business strategy management, the course. We have all these theories, and those are all great, and they are really helpful. But one thing I want to tell you, and it's really important, is that it's all about common sense. If it makes sense, it's okay. If it doesn't, then something fishy about it. So we're talking about these features, and you're trying to come up with a new and innovative product. Say, hey, Mr. Customer, please come and buy my product rather than a nice-looking iPad that people are crazy about. Okay, and the customer, the first question that comes to mind is, why? Why should I come and buy your product? What are you going to offer me that iPad is not? If you're going to tell a customer, I'm giving you the exact same thing at the same price, the customer is going to say sorry because the iPad is already established in the market and people are buying it and liking it. So why would it make sense for me to come and buy from you. And to answer your question, Mr. Hassan, yes, absolutely, that is correct. Perform activities differently means that compared to other rivals that they're doing. So your product should either act differently. Yes. Good example, Dr. Hutter, yes. You see that Apple's products and let's say Dell products is basically two different types of products. One of the things that Apple has been very successful is Apple has created something different, you know. You only are able to buy an Apple product from Apple. You can't just buy an Apple product from Dell. You know, Apple has established that image, that certain concept and perception of a certain type of computer that is only for Apple. You can't just buy Apple from anywhere, you know. So that's something that has helped Apple a lot because they have been able to position themselves as a whole different product, even though they're giving you a double core, let's say, producer of a personal computer, which is very similar to a Dell, or when you're buying a MacBook, is, let's say, pretty much similar to a certain type of Dell or HP. It's different. It's that image they were able to position themselves differently. So when I, as a customer, go and see, okay, this is Apple and this is Dell, I know these are different products. So if I am sold with the idea of Apple and that looks like a wonderful idea to me, I'm going to take it because it's I know it's a different product. But if it's just a very similar product, let's say two types of products, identical, it's just a matter of price. So whichever is cheaper, I'm going to buy. But when it makes sense, you tell me that, okay, it's more expensive because this and this and this and that. Okay, then I say that makes sense. I'm willing to spend and fork out another $200 to just buy your product because it makes sense. So you see how it works? It got to make sense, you know, because the customer has common sense and wants to see what's the reason I'm going to buy your product. That's or service, you know. Okay, any questions so far? Any comments, questions? Okay, so moving on. So types of potential competitive advantage. So one of the features that you want to talk about is achieving lower overall cost than rivals. So let's say one of the reasons that your products could be sold or bought rather than rival products is that they are cheaper. You know, the price, the cost. You have a lower production cost that helps you to have a lower final cost to the customer, and that's why customers will buy. That's the Chinese products, you know. Chinese people or Chinese companies have been able to give you the cheaper of every single product out there, you know. They have a fake thing for everything. It's cheaper, you know. It's pretty similar, but it's cheaper. So the price is a factor. For customers, finally, price is really a factor because they'll look at it because they are going to spend that money. So if there are identical products or similar products and one of them is cheaper, So a lot of customers will choose it because of the price. So it really is because of the price sometimes. So if you are able to lower the overall cost, so let's say your product is going to cost you $10. Let's say your thumb drive, you're producing thumb drive or pen drives, those memories that people will store something in, and it's going to cost you $5, let's say. So your thumb drive is $5. If I, as another guy with a different company, come and say, hey, I give you the same thumb drive with the same memory capability of 2 gigs, let's say. I give it to you for $5. I give it for $4.50. Same, pretty much the same, and I'm just giving it 50 cents cheaper. It's very most likely that customers are going to choose my product because it's cheaper and the same product. Why would I pay 50 cents more for the same product? I'll go for the cheaper product. Yes, that's very true, Hassan. Outsourcing is actually a very important key. So nowadays, everybody is outsourcing their products to China. The production is in China, but even then, they might use a different logistic strategy. So instead of flying or freighting their products from China to U.S., they might be shipping them out, or do different strategies. And the final cost, if it's lower, it gives you a bigger room to reduce your price. So that's a very important factor when it comes to the competitive advantage. Then processing the capability to differentiate the firm's products or service and command a premium price. So performing differently, valuable activities. Yeah, the quality of cheaper products, of course, is a concern. But if it's cheaper much more than a regular product, let's say if you're supposed to pay $10 to buy my product, you could pay $9 to buy another product, and it's going to break down very soon. So it makes sense that you pay another extra $1 and buy a more reliable product. But if the difference of the price is there, but the difference in quality is not that big a deal. Let's say going back to that thumb drive, they're pretty much the same. So of course it doesn't make sense to pay that extra 50 cents. Yeah. So then when it comes to processing the capability, you want to, in this case, you want to give them a product with a better quality. That is the same concept that you just talked about, Amazon. You say, okay, my Apple product is more expensive. That's for sure. With $1,000, you will buy an Apple product that has lower features than a regular computer. But what I explain to you as a customer, I say, Mr. Customer, my products are going to cost you more. By paying $1,000, you won't get the final and the latest version of my product, but the quality is going to be different. I want to guarantee that I will give you the best quality product, and that's why I charge you more for less features. So that's another strategy, So just back to the same concept. you want to make sure that you exactly know where you're standing and how you're offering your product. If you're telling them, okay, I'm offering you this product and it's cheaper, but then it's not, it's actually more expensive, you're losing it. You're not getting the customer's attention and you're losing the customer. So make sure you know you're focusing on each of these strategies. Okay, so let's just pause here. Any questions so far? Any comments regarding what we discussed so far from the beginning? Okay, since there's no question, let's do a class assignment. Let's do something in the class. Okay. As you can see in this chart, for business level strategy, we have which good or service to provide, how to manufacture, and how to distribute it. So what I want you to do, I want you to tell me in your company, in your firm, in your organization, in your NGO, wherever you work, what is the good or service you provide? How do you manufacture or produce or service that, and how you distribute it? And then, regarding how to manufacture it, I want you to tell me how you do it differently from the rivals. Let's say you are creating the markers. So what is the good you produce is a marker. How do you manufacture it? You have a certain type of manufacturing that you produce it. It's all manufactured with this certain type of machines, and so that's how you manufacture it. And how to distribute it? You distribute it through retailers, different shops, online, and all that. And then how are you manufacturing it differently? So you say your technology gives you these and these features that helps you to create it with a 50 cents price difference, like cheaper price. And that's why it makes sense for customers to buy from me. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me what is the good or service you provide, how you make it, and how you distribute it, and how do you make it differently, that it makes sense for the customer to buy it from you or get it from you. Is that clear? So everybody knows what we're going to do. Okay, I gave you 5-6 minutes or so, or maybe 7 minutes. Just come up with that, and then we will discuss your answers. Everybody's clear about the assignment? Okay. What I want you to do in your explanation, your answers, please be specific. Don't give me general answers. So exactly what is it that you're producing? So one more time. So you're talking about the business level strategy of your company, a real case. It's not just you tell me some fake company. Your company, what good or service you provide, how you provide it, how you manufacture it, and how you distribute it in your company and what you do. And then, when you said that, I want you to tell me how do you manufacture, produce, or make it differently that it makes sense for customers to buy from you. I want specific answers, and I don't want any general answers. So that is your assignment. Just give you 7 minutes from now,
and then we will discuss it. Yeah, yeah, 5 to 7 minutes. So just try to just think about it and just so you can either share it with the class, just speak it out, or you can type it down. And as you know, I expect you to email it to me by the next day. Okay? So let's start. Okay. So time is up. Let's go over your explanations. For close. Okay. Let's go to Mr. Miyako. So your organization, you provide capacity building services to government entities. Okay. And you do it by mentoring, coaching, assisting, by meeting management, staffing issues, planning, blah blah, controlling program activities. And then how do you distribute it? How do you get it to the customer, Mr. Miyako? And then how do you do it differently? Please answer those also. So, Mr. Aziz, we have a maintenance company for building, okay. You're providing services like routine maintenance, monthly maintenance on the equipment, electrical, mechanical system of a big building. You're doing all the mentioned work by a big experienced technical team, and you're providing those services for 3 big building projects. Okay. And how do you get it to the customers? Are you going on site and doing it, or by assisting? Okay, Mr. Miyako, very good. Okay, you base it on contact, but what I mean is, how do you get it to them? Like, you go create your on-site, facilities and then do it from there, or yeah, on-site. Okay, and then how do you do it differently? What is it that you do is that makes sense for a customer to come and say, hey, please you do it on my side, rather than I go to somebody else? What is it that you're good at? Well, is it the price? Is it how do you do it differently? You know, inputs, process of activities, outputs, achievements, and success stories of the lessons learned. Yeah, but that's a very general answer, Mr. Miyako. You gotta tell me exactly how you do it differently. You say, okay, we are cheaper by this amount, or we can do it faster, or this, like, lead time. From the time you start, from the time you finish, you do it like 10% faster than others. Or we use better quality for our production, or you use this much, return on investment. I mean, we give this much return on investment. Yeah, free, fast, and objective-oriented is not good enough. Yeah, don't give me general answers. More specific. Give me numbers like, okay, you do it differently in this sense. Like, what do you mean by free and fast and objective-oriented? So free, you mean no cost at the customer? Is that what you're saying? And then fast, how fast? Because anybody can come and say, okay, I can do it this fast. But like, if you tell me I can do it in 10 days rather than other companies that they do it in 11 days, that gives me some idea. I mean, it should be comparable. Because when it comes to competitive advantage and strategizing, it's all about putting it down to numbers and comparing it with other companies. You cannot just tell us, okay, I do it faster. Faster than who? By how many days? How many minutes? How many seconds? Those all come into consideration. And then by objective-oriented, you should explain like, okay, we are objective-oriented in the sense that we set our project's goals, which is, let's say, finishing at the promised day, using the exact same material that we indicate in the beginning of the project, and finally 0% of defects or problems or consequences of installation after the service is rendered. So all these are our objectives, and he has been able to meet those objectives 90%. So that gives me a good picture of what you do. But if you just tell us, okay, we are objective-oriented, anybody can say that. But when you prove it with numbers and with your detail, that I can compare it with a rival company, I say, yes, I'm going to go with your test. Okay, so on 1 day doing the work in 10 days or but considering time, okay. When we are providing 10% discounts from the market in 30 minutes after receiving call from. Okay, that's great. Okay, awesome. Very good. So you see, these are really helpful when it comes to practical strategy. As you can see, when you have a clear understanding of all these concepts, when you're talking with a customer, you'll make sense. So that's all about making sense and making sure that you have something comparable. You know, that's really good. Okay, Dr. Carter, you produce national standard conformity assessment services. How you produce the national standard standards instead of national requirements to process facility with technical commitments, and then conformity assessment services. Providing inspection. Your activities are based on international best practice and you send me a private message probably. Yes, but Dr. Otters was a very good example. Trying to copy and paste it. Yes, very good. Very organized. Okay, that is great. Fabulous. So if there's no questions, we can just stop here. What I ask you, please email me by next day. If you have it ready, you can email it right now. And you have my email. I just give it to you one more time. Okay. So, and of course, Dr. Hotter, you can give us more advantages in your explanation when you email it to us, like, you know, because advantages, if you remember, the benefits are what makes the customer get it from you. So you like the what product and how, it definitely helps yourself and all these knowing them. But how you do it differently is where you can convince the customer or the client or, you know, the person who gets the service from you that they should get it from you. So advantages is where you want to focus much more. Oh, you can find the book online. It's available online, or you can buy it from the bookstores, you know. So you can find it. And you could also contact admin, and what they could do, they can buy it from you for you, because I understand that you might not be able to use credit cards and buy online. So what you could absolutely do, you could definitely have admin buy the book for you, and then they'll give it to you. I'll try to do the slides for business strategy in advance, and service quality I try to give you as much as I can do, but service quality is more of like notes and what we discussed in the class. So not always I can give you the service quality notes in advance, but I try to give you at least
one session in advance. But for business strategy, I can give you everything in advance. I'll have admin send all the slides for business strategy. But for service quality, I'm using my own book and my notes and everything. So it's more of a practical approach. So I can't give you the whole semester's PowerPoint slides in advance, because that defeats the purpose of, practicality of the scenario. So let's stop here. Thank you all for being in the class. Oh, you don't have service quality? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought some of you are in the service quality class. Yeah, I do have the service quality class, but yes, I'll have the slides be sent to you. Absolutely. You're welcome. Okay? So, a wonderful week, everyone, and thank you.